Hey, welcome to the stream. I'm your host, Cyberdragon, and hope everyone's been doing well. This week, we're going to continue off playing around with the leaderboard system. Last week, I was dabbling into it and we did some tests, and I wasn't able to get it working on Trigger. Spoke to the devs about it so I can get an idea of what I did wrong and what to avoid and what to put in and make sure that it works. So today I'll go through that. We'll try to attach it to this coin dropping game I made a while ago, and we'll test that on stream and see if the leaderboard system works as intended. Thanks for tuning in. Dankoy, welcome. AJ, welcome to the stream. So yeah, we'll play around with the leaderboard system and make sure all of that works. And we'll test out this little mini game that I made. So I'll go ahead and quickly give that a play with this backrooms entity. So we have a no, oh, it's supposed to be no jump in. I don't know why it's jump in, but I'll go ahead and remove that. That's not a problem. And I don't know if removing collisions is a good idea, but we got an in-game leaderboard system for this game that we built, because the actual leaderboard requires you to end the experience with a victory screen before it records the stats. And I believe when it triggers for everyone. So we can't individualize the victory screen, I think. So we're going to play around with that and test it. But this here has two methods of the leaderboard tracking, which is the in-game HUD version, and then we've got the rules system version. So we'll hop out and we'll make these adjustments. And yeah, we'll go from there. So first we want to get rid of the jump in. We don't want any jump in. We don't want to swim. We don't want to fall. Nothing like that. So if we go ahead and test that, there we go. We can't jump. The space bar is pretty much disabled for this. And you can see that my current score was exactly the same score last game. And all that works. What we're going to do now is play around with the grid, the gaming field, I should say, and the coin drop-in areas. So we'll make it all neat, and then we'll attach the leaderboard system to it, and then we'll publish it on the Sandbox website, and then we can test it. If you're in chat and want to play and see if the leaderboard system works and want to have a go at this quick little idea of having coin drop in from the sky and the time limit to pick it up while you're competing against other people, could be a little fun. And yeah. So basically you're going to just have something like this, and we're going to need to offset or time each platform differently, so that way it's not predictable. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing too many moving platforms, probably, but that's okay. We'll see how it works when we do our tests. We'll probably get rid of, we'll probably need to get the proper grass block, and we'll get the border cleaned up. Go for basics. I think it's grass 1 or grass 2. It's one of these. Get rid of the grid system in the bottom left corner. It's this one here. Yeah. Cool beans. And now we'll just make sure that the numpads are over the playing field properly. It looks like it is. And we're going to adjust these so they're offset different, wait times are different. We don't want them all moving at the same time. You can see the different RNG1, RNG8, RNG5, RNG1, RNG5. So I probably should have checked that before I duplicated everything. But what I can do is, what's this one? This is the end game. We'll keep it off the ground so we don't accidentally delete it. And what we need to do here is change this so it's going to use one of each of the RNGs. So that way, if a particular number rolls, at least something activates. And I think we did 8 numbers or 9, I can't remember. We're about to find out now. Yep, we did 8. Okay. So these are the 8 here, and we need to do 3 at the end. So what we can do here is to duplicate, and we'll make a few rows of this first, and then we can vary the end result. We can go ahead and rotate these. Yep. Cool. And we could probably take a slice in the middle. So we got a variation of both forward and reverse. So 1 to 8 this way and then 1 to 8 that way. And we're going to make sure we are covering. I did accidentally select a numpad there, but that's okay. We can vacate him over here. Awesome. And now we just need different rows here. So what we can do is we can duplicate this one, and we can duplicate this row here, hold Control to unselect, and bring that over here, and we can probably do this row here. Duplicate, and we can rotate this around to make it a bit more random. And now we got our playing field, so I'll go ahead and save that. And the whole idea is for these floors to be going up and down, and sometimes they'll stay up there for ages depending on the number that's rolled. And yeah. Okay. Cool, cool. Go ahead and bring this down. And there's no collisions on that, which is good. Where's the snap to the ground? There it is. Okay, so this one here waits for 3 seconds. I think that is good. I think we'll leave it as is, and we'll just do a quick test. And I'll see if I can increase the timer for the game, so that way it doesn't end so soon. Where is it? Start timer 15 seconds. Let's do 30 seconds, and we'll see what that looks like. So you can see different platforms are moving up and down. I did want to block the player from moving, but that's not going to happen. So we've got a whole row that's up. I'm wondering if moving the removing the collision on the coin would be any benefit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If it doesn't have collision already, then that's good. Ah, the collision and gravity thing. I see. For the coins to drop from the sky, it needs gravity. And yeah, for it to move up with the platform too, it needs gravity. And gravity requires collisions, so I can't really change that. That's a shame. Because in multiplayer, collisions on Pickable kind of stops the avatar from collecting it. It's like hitting the wall instead of just running through. So that's the reason why. We could maybe no, because if we add collisions and gravity to another object and parent the coin, it would technically be the same thing. So if I had a numpad that had gravity, put it on the coin, it could possibly work. It could possibly work with a one pixel asset, one voxel, I should say. So I got boxes, but I don't have like a one voxel asset, which is just a 1x1x1. I will go ahead and create that and see if it will make the solution that I'm after for in this game. Whereas the coin is the thing that drops that won't have collisions, and the one voxel thing will. So we can go modular, create new, one box, save. And we just do 1x1x1. And we'll just fill it up. We'll make sure that it is in the center. And save, and we'll upload that to Workspace. And I'll upload this now on the other screen, and we'll use that asset. One vox, continue, other props, common, create asset. And that's just uploading now. Okay, that's done. Awesome. Hi Rokapath, how's it going? I think I just played a game called Zero to Hero that has coins that drop from dragons flying around, I think. Nice. Yeah, it is an old concept, definitely not an original idea. So chances are other people have created this. I think even Alex did it on stream a couple of years ago also. So I'm not going to go ahead and... wait. Now we'll see if it's in here. Yes, here it is. Now we got this one voxel asset. Look how small it is. Yay! And we'll see if this works. Haven't tried this before. But I'm trying to get past that whole gravity collision thing. And this might be the way to do it. Or this won't fall out of the sky with it. There could be issues with this. So we're going to have no collisions. And so we do have something that kills off the coin, but nothing kills off this. That's okay. We can actually have a plant. So they can stay during a game and they can just be killed off with the end of the game. So kill coin, end game, one of that. So let's do that. Kill coin, end game. And we'll call that coin. And this is our coin holder. We'll go to our hierarchy and we'll put the coin on the coin holder and we'll drag it on top. So now when we move this thing around, it's all good. Let's save over to preset. Awesome. Now let's see if this works. The coins are, because the Vox can fall on any side, the coins are all wacky, depending on which side the Vox landed on. Which is fine. It just adds an unexpected twist because the coins are sideways and also and they kind of jump. Yeah. All right. But it works. So that's good. And what we will do now, I mean, I don't want to create a lobby system here, but we do have a victory button that we can push. So if someone wants to record their high score, they can push the victory button to end the session, and that will be that. But the game starts when you jump off this podium. So if some player joins and then jumps straight away, it will be just them in the game. It wouldn't have... they wouldn't need to wait for a second or third player and can just free roam real quick. So we'll probably want to put something here to kind of stop that from happening. So the victory screen, we can put this aside for now. And we'll have, so this is where teleportation happens when the game finishes. It probably won't teleport everyone here unless I do group teleport. And then I can put 90 by 90, something like this. And that should cover the whole map. I'll do it by 5 just in case. So when the activation occurs, it will grab everybody in this square and bring them to the beginning. What else can we do? We need to do the join game function. So we can have an area here maybe. Or maybe you can teleport above and they get dropped in. So maybe we can have something like that. Let's do a 256 board prop. I'm sure we have some. Here we go. This will do. And I don't think these have collisions. No collisions, that's good. And we'll put the tag on this one so we can get rid of it with actor property behavior. We'll call this just floor. And we'll go ahead and bring out our trusty numpad. And for this one, we're going to put actor property behavior. And here we can remove the collisions on the floor when the game begins and drop everybody into the arena. So we'll go ahead and remove collisions for this. We'll make this invisible so it can't be seen. We do have a start game function, I believe, start game. So we'll put that in here. So when start game occurs, we're going to do a fixed collision, and we're going to make it false collisions, not with everyone in range, but specific tags. And we can just call it floor, which is what we've called it here. and when the game starts, it will remove the floor. What we can do as well is we can duplicate this, and we can remove the tag. And we can just make that invisible, but keep collisions on, and we'll remove the tag, so it keeps everyone contained on this platform before the game begins. Something like that. And then we need to put another actor property, so we'll control D, and we're going to make the collisions true, but with the end game. So when the game ends, the collisions come back on the floor, so that way the next round players don't fall straight through. Cool. All right, we can also put teleport on one of these, doesn't matter which one. And when players join game, we can put it here as join game, so we rename the asset so we can find it easily, because we can teleport to a specific asset. So we want to type the name up on the top, and I just put in the name join game, which is the asset that we just named here. Makes it easy to find, and we'll have that as instant teleportation. And I don't think there's anything else we need to change. We can send a message once the player teleports, but that's okay. We don't really need to do anything here, but it is an option. All right, next we're going to put a numpad down here. We're going to no collisions, no visibility. And what we're going to put here is a effect, a visual effect. We can just do a multiplayer one. And we can select maybe geometry. And this one here is like a circle with a glow. So it kind of tells players you need to walk into this thing for something. So it's a nice little visual effect I like to use. And here we can put on a indicator. And an indicator is displays a name, but what we can do is just do size equals, say, 28, and B to bold it, and we can say join game. And what we can do is we don't need any quest cursors, and we want it to display over, and we'll probably have it say 12, and visibility offset maybe 1 might be fine. We'll go ahead and save that and check it out. But before I do, I'm just going to bring this back a bit and make this one a bit longer. What's this? Oh, this is the start game. Okay. We're probably going to change that, so I'm going to delete that and put my start game function elsewhere, probably in the rules. So I'll save that and give that a quick test and make sure the visual works. Also, I need to put a teleport message on this thing as well. So what I can do here is have a speaker or a volume. Probably use a volume because it's less process heavy. And here we can do a detection, and we'll do the detection to be small, maybe like 1, so the players need to run in there and actually to join the game. And we can say joined game. Whoops. Joined game. Perfect. And now when I test this, I should be able to see join game above the geometry. So it's glowy, it's yellow. There's a circle. It kind of tells the player to look at me and come over here, pay attention. Says join game in nice big bold text. Makes it easy to read and understand. And when I walk into it, I get teleported up at the top. So we need something now to have like a countdown before the game begins, so it gives players a chance to join the game before one player triggers it and does it on their own, which we don't want. Okay, so when we joined the game, we can now go to our variables, and we can do a variable that is a global, and we'll just say players joined. So this is where we're going to keep a box to track how many players are in the actual game. So players joined, and what we can do is we'll scroll down to an empty space, and we're going to do some math. And basically when join game is triggered, we're going to take our variable players joined, and we're going to add 1 to it. And when we add 1 to it, it's going to equals players joined. So 0 add 1 equals 1, and the next player that joins will be 1 plus 1 equals 2. Next, we want to see check player amount. And what we'll do here is we're going to compare that number. So when player joins, it's going to add 1 to players joined, and then it's going to send a message, check player amount. We're going to send that message to a comparison, and we're going to compare players joined to see if it equals to or greater than 1. We'll just say greater than 1. So we want to see if there's more than one player. If there is more than one player, we're going to start countdown. And now we need another variable for the timer, for the countdown. So we can do time. We'll make it global. We'll call it countdown. And with start countdown, we can go to time, start timer. We're going to do start countdown, and we're going to use the countdown timer, and the duration will be, say, 15 seconds. After the 15 seconds is up, we're going to start game. So it won't work if I'm on my own, because it's looking for greater than 1, and we can test this out now. And we can actually put that information on a HUD so everyone else can see. So if I join game, you can see I'm in the game, but nothing's going to happen. And up at the top, it says game time. So we can switch that around so it's more relevant information. So we'll go to our gameplay. We're going to find our HUD. If we've labeled it correctly, we can just find it here, but I didn't because I was lazy when I created it. So with the game time, we can have countdown and then switch that to game time, I guess. So we'll do game starts in. And we could have the variable, we can't actually set a time amount, but what we could do is set an amount. I don't know if that's going to be the same thing here with the start game. If we do start countdown, does it reset the 15, or do I need to set it? Not too sure. Maybe I could do both. We could always test that. Or maybe I can't set time. Oh, yes, I can set time value. So joined game, and we could take our countdown and set it to 15. So each time a player joins, it's going to set the time value to 15, which means that you can't join last second. It will always have a 15-second countdown as soon as a new player joins, giving the next players a chance to rejoin the game without it starting on them. So that's that here. Players joined. All right, so we're adding 1 to players joined. We're checking the amount to see if it's greater than 1, and if it is, we're going to start the 15-second countdown. It should set the countdown to 15 when I join, but not start until 2 players. Nope. So game starts in 0. It doesn't even set it. Let me just check that again. Yeah, join game. Join game. Let me just check to see if this is to all. Join game to all. So yes, so it is sent into the rules system as well. But it can't set the time value unless it's begun, I think. So let's set this to 0. Which means it should do it as soon as I join a game. Let's have a look. There we go. So the countdown is now beginning. And when it hits 0, it should just drop me into the battlefield and the game should begin. Yep. So that all works. Notice that we don't have a game starts in replacement with the actual game timer. So let's change that. So we've got an asset spawner here. What we can use this for as well is add a volume trigger. And here we can use this to display a new HUD when players drop in. That's one way we could do it. But we also want to show the timed amount for people that have just joined but weren't able to get in time. They need to also see the game time. So what we could do here instead is we'll just go ahead and make this invisible, no collisions. We'll have a volume for this one. And we'll have this volume span across the whole map. We can just do that, it's not an issue. And we'll say in-game timer. And that will go to all. And we can just go to our HUD up the top. We'll duplicate it. We'll change that to in-game timer. And we'll change this one from countdown to game time. Game ends in. And that will do. And what we can do here is we could bring this out as a preset. So this one here will be in-game timer. Put the word HUD so we know why we're bringing this out. And we'll create a new preset. And now that is a preset. And we got one for end game. So let's just see what that does as a reminder. So we've got TP at end game lobby. So this preset here will send a message TP lobby. And we should make it actually hit all the players because we can use this to TP everyone back here and change their HUD as well. So I'll go ahead and just make this taller. And we're going to use the message TP lobby to change the HUD back. So we'll go ahead and write over that. And we're going to use this one to bring out the other one. So this one here we can duplicate. And this one is TP lobby to bring back countdown. Yeah, I think it's countdown. Yeah, countdown, and we'll just have game starts in. So we'll just cycle like that, and it will cycle between these two after this is yeah, that should work just fine. Now we just need something to bring it out. I'll go ahead and save over the preset again, just in case. And now we can just use an asset spawner with start game to bring out the preset that we just saved, which is in-game timer HUD. And now when the game starts, it will bring that out. We also need to kill it. So I'm going to bring that back out again, that preset. And we need to put a plant on it, which kills it with, I think end game will do. Yeah, end game should do it. So now that should cycle with start game and end game. And the last thing we need to do is we need to block off here so the players can't jump off. So I'll just go ahead and duplicate one of these barriers. And we'll rotate this one, hold shift. We'll get rid of the snap, and then we can just adjust these to our liking. Like so. You can probably squeeze out of that, I don't know. Just duplicate and put something else here to cover it up. Last thing we need to do is also, we don't want players joining in the middle of a game. Or maybe we can, but it will ruin some of the logic. So what we can do here is we can have a message broadcast. And we can also have a toggle. So this numpad has quite a few things going on here. And what we could do is we could toggle this off with start game. And we could toggle this on with end game. Initial behavior will be on. And what happens here is instead of join game here, we can have join game on the message broadcaster. And then use this here to say trigger join game. We'll edit the logic, and we're going to put the wait before broadcast and put that message here. So when they walk into the trigger volume, we're going to send this to the self. So we're sending this message now instead of directly to the teleport. It's being sent to the message broadcaster, which is now waiting for that message. And then when it gets that message, it sends a message join game. The difference being is we've got the toggle now, so we can toggle this on and off when the game begins, so that way players can't join. And we could probably have a banner to pop up or something to change when this when the game begins, so it doesn't say join game. So we can do this with join as one of the tags. And I'll duplicate this one. We're going to put it on top. And we're just going to remove everything except for the indicator. Join and game in progress. We'll get rid of the join, and we'll just change this to say game in progress. Now we need a couple of actor properties. And what we want to do is with start game, we want to show the UI visibility, which is the text on the indicators. And it'll be specific tags in range. And when start game is happening, we want to send the UI visibility to be true to GIP. And we want to send the UI visibility to be false on join. And then what we can do is duplicate both of these. And what we could do is change end game instead of start game. And we're going to change the visibility to be false and this one here to be true. And we just basically switched them around based on the progress of the game. And that should work. We'll go ahead and save and then we'll test this out. And then we can do a victory screen trigger and set up that leaderboard, and then we can test that and see how that works. So pressing tab. Yes, we do need to send a message to turn off the UI at the beginning. So that is one thing that Game Maker doesn't have at this stage, is that all indicators will show at the beginning of the game. We don't have like a false that we can put on here. So this one here will always show at the very beginning of the game. But what we can do to bypass this is we can have a speaker. And the speaker we can have only once, so it'll turn out to be true. We don't want to look at the target, and we want to wait for the message, and the message we want is HUD. And then what we can do here is we can send a message to turn off the indicator, and we'll send that to all. So when the first player joins, it will trigger this speaker, it will send a message turn off indicator, and it will only send it once. And what we can do is we can send it to wherever the GIP is, which is true. We want it to be the GIP to be false, game in progress to be false, and we can send that message here. It's only going to send it once, and what that means is that when the first person joins, it's just going to trigger that so it doesn't show, and you can see it's gone. Now we can join. I don't know if we put the ability to see through assets for the indicator, and I kind of want to see it for this example. So let's see what we've selected. Display over we have. I'll put it as 20 just for the sakes of seeing the change through the wall while I'm in the starting area. All right, we are getting there. Let me save. And then we'll do the leaderboard setup. And then we'll do a test and see if it works. So we'll press tab. And you can see the join game. We can't really see it from this far, but it should still say join game. But when I drop down, I'll walk over to it and it should say game in progress. And up at the top, you can see the timer has changed. You can see it says game in progress. The players won't be able to join. And you can see everything is working. Those one voxel assets aren't really a pain. They're not causing any collision issues. You can kind of see them sprinkled on the ground. And there we go. And that all works. Game starts in, and I don't have a timer on it, but as soon as I join, you can see now that it says game starts in and the loop is now beginning. What we can do here is have the person with the highest score have the ability to trigger the victory. So that way we're not triggering a victory just every game that occurs. We can have just a winner say, do they want to trigger victory? Because if they get a low score or think they can get something higher, or they haven't bet the leaderboard score, then they wouldn't be triggering the victory screen, which makes logical sense to me. And other players don't need to trigger it if they didn't win, because they technically don't have a high score. So I think that will be the way to go. How can this occur? All right, so let's go to our gameplay and rankings. Here we can set server best score and player best score. And I think they're the same thing at the end of the day, because if you set the server best score, it's technically your best score as well. So we're going to get rid of this one. And we can say highest score, and we want it to be the top score to be the highest. We want the global rankings, so it's spread across everyone, like all instances. And when you select a variable, we can't use global. It has to be a local. So in this case, we're going to use player best score. And we'll just say highest score. We can only fit 12. A high score, that will do. And we'll make sure it's highest. And the message to start recording the results for a player is HUD. That should work. And that means it will just start recording. And then when the victory screen triggers, it will take whatever your variable value is at that point. Not at the snapshot, but at when the victory screen triggers. And it will only update the leaderboard if there has been changes to the variable when the game has begun. So last week I wasn't changing the variable value after we sent the message to start the recording. So when I triggered the victory screen, nothing was going to the leaderboard because no variable changed when the experience began. So that's one of the criteria for it to work, which makes sense, because if the variable isn't changing, then there's no point in putting it on a leaderboard because it's the starting value. So this should now work. It should work. We will find out. And the next thing we want is we need a asker to pop up. Maybe an asker, or we'll have a banner pop up maybe to say push 0. No, we'll have an asker. So what we can do here is we'll find a way we can get our highest score. Set personal best. We want server best. Set server best. Add one. Set server best score. The issue here is everyone can get their personal best, but not everyone can get a server best. So if you want to, I don't know if that will trigger for a particular person because it's not player needed. Wait, check server best. Set server best score. So let's do that. Set server best score. We'll put it over here as an asker. Set server best score. And here, we won't have anything there. You are currently the server best. You currently have the highest score on the server. Did you want to trigger victory to record your score on the leaderboard? Note, this will end the game for everyone. And here we'll say no. And here we'll say yes. And yes will be a victory. And I don't know if we already have a victory component, but we can go to debug and logic, and we can see if we've got a victory here. Under components, we do. So if we go over to it, we have a victory on receive message. We'll get rid of the message broadcaster, so that way no one can interact with this. And will group victory do everyone's, or would it just do anyone's anyway, even with defeat? We can test that out. I don't know the answer to that. No collisions and no collisions. So I'll go ahead and save it, and I want to see if it actually triggers in the editor, and if it does, I will upload this to the to publish it to a land, and then we can test it out if you're curious to see if leaderboards work or not. We also probably want to do checkpoints as well, so you can't like just slash respawn back to the lobby area and rejoin. I guess you can if you want one player to be able to trigger everything, but that's okay. We'll I kind of got stuck. Okay. No message was sent to the asker. So even though I got the server best, no pop-up showed or triggered. And it is a multiplayer, so it should have worked. Set server best score. And we got player needed. And here it's set server best score. So I would assume that would trigger for a player, but it doesn't look like it does. I don't think it goes to the asker. even though it has player needed. So we've got TP to the lobby, check server best, and it has player needed, which we do have. Then it checks the current score to see if it's greater than the server score. And if it is, it sends a message to set server best, which it does. But the message doesn't come and trigger the asker. That is interesting. Not too sure how to bypass that one. Because this would have been a good way to... I even got it in the wrong area anyway. But this would be a good idea to have that, like, ask the player if they want to. All right, let's do it a different way then. Do we have anything for a banner? I don't think I set up a banner in this. Nope. All right, we're going to do a banner. So we're going to key input. That's not going to work either. It will in 0.11 because we could toggle this on and off for specific players as well. But here it will toggle on for everybody. Just seeing how I can bypass this. Maybe we could have a banner, and here it will set server best score. Duration is 5 seconds. And the variable we want to show is another text. So we're going to go text, and it will be global, and it will say press 0 to confirm high score. I'll do it all caps. That's in the wrong field. Doesn't matter. That will do. We don't need anything here. And for 5 seconds, we can see if players want to confirm high score. And message sent on close, we can say toggle off key input. And what we can do is when a player presses 0, we can send message trigger victory, or maybe just victory. Maybe pushing 0. No, we want to trigger victory. We want to have a middleman. So trigger victory. When the player pushes 0, it will come over here. We can toggle that. I just want to see if I can get to this. Trigger. No, we don't want to do that. We want to trigger victory. And toggle off. And toggle on with... I don't know if that's going to work either. If it doesn't trigger the asker, it probably won't trigger this either. But we could maybe do TP lobby to toggle it on. And we can toggle that off. And that one's the victory. Let's see if that works. Have no idea if it will, but we'll test now. And we probably want the game to be longer than 30 seconds. And I don't know if I want the platforms to go so high, I probably just want them to block the player instead of going so high where the player can go underneath. So if it was just 2 squares up, then it would just block the player. I think that's probably better, and then we won't have this weird camera collision. I've got no banner pop up either, but when I push 0, that works. So you are currently the highest score of the server. Did you want to trigger the volume? Yes, victory screen. So that works, but we have no banner popping up to let the player know. So not too sure why the banner isn't working. Let me just quickly look. Set server best score. So for some reason, it's not sending off that. Even with the player needed. So that tag, because it didn't originate. I guess it kind of did. But it's not working. It would be good to have an individual banner for the player to say press 0 to record your high score. But what we can do, maybe we can do a comparison. So when you press 0, we can say compare numbers. Compare victory trigger, and we want to compare if the server best score equals to, okay, if your personal best score is equal to the server's best score, then we can say trigger victory, and pressing 0 will compare victory trigger, and the banner won't work regardless. And we can probably do one more thing. We can compare numbers again, and we want to compare if the server best score, let me see where we did that check. If the server best score, we're going to add 1. If the server best score check equals to 0, we're going to add 1. Okay, so if the server best score is equal to 1 or greater than 1, so server best score check is greater than 0. So we're going to compare victory trigger. So we push 0, we're going to compare victory trigger. And if the server best score is greater than 0, I think this way is the better way. We're going to see if our player best score is equal to that, then we're going to see check first score. Okay, so we're going to check our personal score. If it equals the server best, then we're going to check to see if at least one game is played. If one game has been played, then we're going to trigger victory. And we can now duplicate this one. something like this. Press 0 to record highest score. Highest server score can press 0 to record the score, to record it. Yeah, that'll do. We don't need a speaker. And now if we go ahead and press tab, this should work now. So we have join game, and we got highest server score can press 0 to record it. If I press 0, nothing happens. If I press 0, 0, 0, 0, nothing happens. Now if I go to join game and actually achieve a higher score, we'll see if it records, and if it does, then we have like a manual recording process that the highest score can achieve. Hey. Okay. Now we've got the highest score. If I press 0, there we go. You're currently the highest score on the server. Did you want to trigger the victory? If I say yes, beautiful. I really like this setup. This is really good. So now that we have that set up, we just want to make all of these basic platforms not go higher than 2. So we'll have X space be 1.5. That should do it. And we just need like a wall around the game area, and that will do. That will do, pig. That will do. We can probably rotate this to 0, and then we can snap to ground by the anchor point. We can probably snap to, and we can duplicate just to make things faster. Awesome. Next, we're going to... I probably will trim some of this back. Something like that. Keep it clean. And it also shows the clearer battleground, so you don't have all this green space around it. And it makes the game look a lot smaller and tighter. Okay, so that's good. And I want to change the timer so it's not just a 30-second game. Probably 45 seconds is better. Maybe even a minute. And we can probably put some audio in as well and change the environment so it's not just the standard default weather, just to make it look a bit more interesting. So we'll put in the weather. It's a behavior. Weather switcher, I think that's it. And we can go nighttime if we want, or we can do a custom. And we can stop and play the custom one. We can make it a bit more pinkish or something. Oops, sorry about that. An old alarm from yesterday. Not relevant today. And we can change like the time of day. So if we want like shadows to be in a different spot, we can do that. We can also have, yeah, so the sun's directly above at this time of day, or if you do it like halfway, you can see the shadow is shifting. So you can play around with the shadows to see if you want them in view or not. We can have no clouds, but we can have like a lot of stars and things like that. Star intensity. We can have no sun at all. We can have like darkness all around us. So we're like in space. Something like that. But it's always good to have like a grayish gradient, something like this. That's too grey. I like my life a bit darker. All right, and oh, so I don't like the yellow moon, that's for sure. What a grey moon. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, all right, did we solve the amount of players joining? I've still got it on one, don't I? All right, so we want more than one player before the game begins, so there's at least some competition. And we also want to put in a checkpoint. So we'll do checkpoint. Actually, we'll make that a separate asset. So that way we can duplicate it and put it in the lobby as well. So I'll get rid of the actor, get rid of the teleport, and we'll put in a checkpoint. Because you could do /respawn and it will take you to the last checkpoint. So you can kind of like cheat your way around a map or find ways that you didn't intend the game to be designed for. So this is a good way of countering that. So when a player joins, they enter this volume, and we'll just say checkpoint. And we'll trigger this checkpoint with checkpoint. The broadcast will be to the self, and that's it. So when a player joins this area, it will trigger the volume. It will send a message to itself, which is to trigger this checkpoint. And I can duplicate this with Control D and bring another one over here. I can edit the logic to see the bubble, but basically when the player gets teleported back here, this will be the next checkpoint. So if they do /respawn, it won't bring them back in the game. All right, I think we got our first working version of this game. I'm going to save it and publish it. And if you want to test it out with me, I'll send a link inside of a chat and we can see how well this works. If not, that's okay. We'll suss that out if people are on the stream and active that want to try it. But I'm going to go ahead and create the experience page to put this on. And I'll load up the Sandbox launcher as well. But I need to create a experience page before I can upload this. Oh, I already have. Oh, perfect. Let me just select the map. And I'll just make sure it's multiplayer as well. Launch experience, multiplayer, confirm. Okay, and launch. So we didn't really have to wait that long, which is great. I just need to repair this because it is in the 0.11 version and it needs to be repaired back to the default. And let me get the link and put it in chat. So if you are interested in testing this out and seeing how it works, now's the time. All right, here's the link. Hopefully it works. Let me click play. We'll try it out. Okay, it's loading in. Awesome. All right, I'm in. If anyone else loads in, we could test it. If not, I'll have to adjust the game and re-upload it to make it, to see if it works with just the one player. But if you do have time, do join. It is a little laggy. Let's see, F11. It's probably because I got so many windows, including Game Maker open. So let me just go ahead and... Nah, it doesn't matter. We're here to test a leaderboard anyway. So I can join game. Now I don't have anything to say, oh, there's a 1 out of 2 players in the game. I could join... Ah, hi Rikapath, welcome. It could be a quick addition just to have at the bottom to say how many players have joined, like 1 out of 2, so players will know that the game will start if there's 2 players. I see you right in on the spot. Did it crash for you? I see a couple of issues. The weather thing should have triggered. It's not giving the weather that I thought. Maybe I have, let me just check. Wait for message. So this one needs to be false. So that's one thing. This avatar has no dance moves. Hey, welcome. So I'm pressing 0 now, and nothing's happening, which is good. The FPS is okay. Could be better. I don't have much going on. Yay. Alright, the collection is good because of the no collisions, so that one Vox idea is perfect. Now that you can't go under the platforms and it kind of blocks you off, it's not a bad idea. It could be a lot more strategic in the way it happens, but for a quick job, can't complain. Collect those coins. Alright. Now it hasn't given us a my personal best, current best score. It didn't quite work, did it? If I press 0, does it give me the option? No. If you could press 0 on the keyboard, does the asker pop up for you to give you the option? If so, click yes and see if it ends the experience and records it on a leaderboard. Ah, and look at that. The coins are still dropping. It didn't quite end game. So we got some... Oh, and it teleported me, and I didn't even ask for that. Oh. Okay, nice. Leaderboard worked, but it didn't record the scores. So you got victory, so you're able to trigger the victory. But I wasn't able to get a score. Okay, so there's something going on here that I'm missing. Thanks for the test. I appreciate it. I'm going to unpublish, close the experience, and make a quick couple of changes. So the weather is now good, but the end game isn't. Why isn't the end game killing off the coins? But it does in the editor. Let's see if the... Oh wait, let me Alt F4. Let's see where the end game is sending the message to. Start game, 60 seconds, end game. Okay. End game. It did, I think it did stop the platforms, right? It just didn't stop the coin from killing. Maybe it's to do with we got end game and kill coin, so it should have killed it. End game. So it's kind of weird that the message is not being sent from the rules to interact with the components and behavior. So I couldn't trigger the asker, and I couldn't kill the plants, even though end game, it's the same. Let's see with the messages. So to start the rules, to start recording the results for a player. So I got it when the player joins, it does this, but maybe Maybe join game is probably better. Let's see if this works now, because if this doesn't work, which is a local variable, and join game is triggered by the player, the RNG was still running. Is that what the issue was? That the RNG was still running? All right, how can I quickly fix this? If I can bring this up, grab all of that, do a toggle. I'll let it I'll let it add all its toggles. Might be a while. Yeah, no scores. Yeah. It also gave you the server best score when I had the higher score. So my personal best was higher than your server score. So I had some sort of if it did it all at the same time, it wouldn't. Yeah, it's kind of strange. So like the first game, it really doesn't register properly if you've bet the higher score when two people are triggering that message at the same time. Ah, we got adverts. I'll just let the advert do its thing. All right, we're back from the ad break. Cool. It's still doing all the toggles. Kind of did quite a lot of them. There we go, 162. That's not that many. Anyway, we'll toggle that off. Ooh, is it going to be delayed for each one? All right, start game and end game. I'll change it so it's just a one player that can start it, just in case no one else joins. And I won't join the game until a second player joins. If no one joins for a few minutes, then I will just do a solo game. But now this should fix up all the little things. And now let's see if it records the score, because I'm not using the join message HUD. I'm doing a player joined, which is triggered after the game has loaded. So maybe there's some sort of issue with the player join message not being able to trigger the record score for the leaderboard. So I'm just going to now publish. Republish the experience, just choosing a location, launching the experience, which is multiplayer, launch game, done, view page. So if you want to rejoin a match, here is the link. And I'm going to go ahead and press play. And load in. And this will be the final test for the stream, and hopefully it actually triggers. Alrighty. We'll go ahead now and check it out. Alright. Checking my FPS. Ugh. Why is my FPS so bad? I mean, is 168 asset spawners and 100 non-moving basic platforms an issue? Or is it just because I got streaming and Game Maker and browser and all sorts of things happening? No idea. Alright, let's see if it works. I press 0. I can't record the score, so that's good. Collecting those coins. Look at the coins jump when the platforms go up. That's great. That's a nice little gimmick. You can use a basic platform to make things launch and kind of like jump up a bit. Look at that. That's really cool too. Alright, I've got the highest score. Hey dude. Welcome. It looks like the coins cleared. Everything was an issue when it come to start game. But we're all good now. Let's go. There we go. What's cool is you can fall in like a gap, and you like what I've just did, and now I can't get out, which is my disadvantage until the right number rolls. There we go. So the RNG in this game and the different things that can happen is not bad for a quick job. With some planning and some better mechanics, this concept is actually can actually be fun. Yeah, we're both stuck in here. There we go. I'm out. Alright, so I've got the best score and it's recorded that. If I press 0, I've got the option now to end score, and I click yes. Alright, we've got victory. Next. And now it's recorded the score. So we've discovered something new. Don't use the onload message. Use the message after the game's loaded that the player triggers. So now the leaderboard system works. We've got a coin game attached to it. We have internal leaderboards, and we have the highest score of the internal leaderboard is the only one that can trigger the victory screen if they choose to record their score. So it gives a bit of flexibility. so that the game doesn't have to end as soon as one game is finished. It gives the winner a option to record it or not, or we can loop the game and play again. So I think this method's really good. I don't think anyone's thought of this yet, so I'm going to teach this internally as well, because I think it's quite useful. But yeah, this is how leaderboards work. We've gone and done 20 different ways of how it doesn't work and what doesn't work, but we finally got the end result with a cool concept. But that's it for today's stream. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we all learnt something today and want to see some leaderboard experiences in the future. But thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, hop on Discord or the forum. I'll be happy to help. And have a great day. All the best. Take care.